Hello, Stampers. How are you today? This is Linda Edwards. I'm with Crafty Heron Designs, and I am going to do my very first Facebook Live demonstration for you. So be gentle with me. I'm excited actually to show you. I've got these two samples that I'm going to show you. What I really am going to emphasize is this one whole bow. You know, a lot of us have struggled making bows. So I think this is a really nice little trick that you can use and get these beautiful bows. So there's one card that I made. Here's the second, same idea with the bow. And we're gonna actually make a third that's different from either one of these. So what we're gonna use today is we're gonna start with one piece of old olive cardstock. It's cut at 8.5 and 5.5, and it's scored at 5.5 and 2 1/8. And you're going to accordion fold that. So that's the first one. The next piece you'll need, this is basic white, 4 1/4 by 3. Then you'll need a layer of purple posy. This is 4 1/4 by 2 3/4. And of course, you can substitute with whatever colors you want. The reason I chose those colors is because I am using the Hydrangea Hill Designer Series paper, and this is cut at 4 inches by 2.5 inches. You can see how pretty that is with the purple posy and the green. And then I've got some scrap. I've got some of this scrap. This color, actually the purple posy and the Seaside Spray are both retiring soon. So don't hesitate. If you don't have it and you love this color, don't hesitate to get these. So we just really need a scrap of that Seaside Spray and another scrap of the basic white. So let's get started making our card. As I said, the first thing we'll do is accordion fold our card base like that. And then we are going to actually layer these two pieces together. So I like to use liquid glue to do my layers. You can certainly use whatever you're comfortable with. I like the flexibility that this gives me to, I just get a little bit of extra wiggle room, you know, when I'm putting these together. So here we go. Very simple, put those two together, but we are not going to attach them to the card yet, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to stamp, let's stamp our sentiment next. So on the outside of this, this sentiment, we are going to use the I appreciate all the things you do. This is from this Hydrangea Haven stamp set, and I just love this stamp set. There's some wonderful sentiments from it, and we're going to use the I appreciate all the things you do, and it also has a set of dies to go with it, which we are going to use. So let's see, I think we'll use the old olive stamp pad, and I am going to use the die that came with that. There's the die. So, you know, this is a plenty big piece of paper. Stamp, hold, there you go, great. And of course it doesn't really matter if it's not straight because we're going to use the die. And that's going to fit very nicely, like that. So you don't need to see me put that through the embossing machine, so you can see it right there. And what you will see also is that I did leave a little bit of room when I die cut that. I left a little bit room on the left because we're going to put some pearls there. So while we're doing our stamping, let's go ahead and stamp the inside as well. So I am using this sentiment, the world is better because of you. And I like to use my grid paper to line up my sentiment, and I can look through it. Of course, the photopolymer, I love it because you can look through it and see where you're lining up. And I'm using these lines here to go ahead and stamp that like that. Nice, I like that. And then I'm also going to put a little in the corner. We're going to stamp. We're going to pretty that up a little bit. So I'm going to use the old olive again. And I'm just going to kind of do this just a little bit into the corner, like that. I like that. Clean that one off. And then I'm going to use, oh, I realized I have the wrong one here. Mount it. So what I'm going to do, there's a background stamp that I'm going to use for color. And of course, there are a lot of different ways to do this. But it is nice to just use the background stamp. And I'm just going to do that right there. And that is Highland Heather ink, which is one of the coordinating colors for this paper. All right, so that's the inside done. So we'll get that out of the way. So what I will do is, the first thing I'm going to do is glue the inside because I want that to be centered. See how pretty that will be? So I'll put some glue on that. And just center that. Again, I can use the grid lines, but really it's not as important here because it's much easier to see. So I'm just kind of centering that on my page. All right. And the reason, of course, you want to do that one first is because I'm going to attach this one as well onto the front. But I want to make sure you can't see the white behind it. So I want to be able to line it up, right? So obviously I'm only going to put glue on the back of this half. So you kind of give yourself you eye it a little bit. Oops, let me see if you can see that. Make sure you can kind of see where that is. And I do like the liquid glue or the Stampin' Seal Plus for this because you are going to be using it, it's a moving piece, right? You're going to be using it to open and close your page. So now I can see, that's why I like the liquid glue, because I can really see and make sure that it's lined up properly. Give that a good back rub. There you go. Very pretty, isn't it? It's nice and simple, nothing too elaborate. And then I will go ahead and attach my sentiment to the front. And of course, I love to pop it up on dimensionals. So here we go. I think just 2 little dimensionals will work for this. There we go. I think I'm going to put that just right there. I think I'll go ahead and center it. All right. Oh, and now we're going to use our ribbon, and I forgot to tell you in the beginning, so we're going to need 18 inches of this ribbon. There you go. And we need a hole punch. And I just have, this is just a regular, hole punch from an office supply store. It is the small, it's a very small, I don't know if you can see that. I like to use the smaller hole so that the ribbon doesn't come through. Now this ribbon, it's not too bad. It's kind of thick, so it would be okay. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of eyeball this, and I want to center my hole, wherever your bow is going to be. So if you want your bow to be up higher, you could certainly center it there. But for me, I want my bow to be in the middle. So I'm going to kind of eyeball this and put a little hole right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of loosely eyeball where that's going to go. It's going to go across the front. And then, of course, this is the challenging part, just because it's a little bitty bow, is I'm going to see if I can do that with this ribbon. I did it with the other ribbon. It was thinner. I'm going to put this one through. Oh, yeah. And kind of just pull it through. All right. And pull that one through. Not all the way, but just kind of there. Okay. And now I have to kind of pull it off to the side so that I have room to get this one in. Same thing, I'm gonna, let's do it this way. Roll that up. Squeeze it, let's see. Pull that over. And pull that, again, back to front. This one's gonna be tougher, isn't it? I can get a few strands in, there we go, it'll work. Sometimes if you use your take your pick tool, that'll help as well. And you want to make sure you pull it from the base so that you don't, you know, shred it. A little bit won't hurt. All right. So then as I pull that one through, kind of flatten it out. And what I'm going to do is I want one of these to be on one side and the other to be on the other. So since this one's a little shorter, I'm going to pull that one together. Because eventually we are just going to tie a bow. So kind of pushing that one over a little bit so that I can pull that through. All right. And now, kind of got that centered over there. And since this side's longer, I'll put one, just turn that over. There we go. And there is your bow. You can kind of play with it a little bit to get it to line nicely. And then use my paper snips to cut it one way and the other. There you go. Little bow, definitely easier to do than a freestanding bow. There you go, and that's the front. And of course, you know, we need some bling, right? So, got some pearls that we will add to our page. And I don't know what I did with my take your pick tool. Ah, here it is. So I like to use these too. Let's see, am I going to use these pearls? Yeah, maybe I'll use these. They're more colorful. What do you think? What do you think? Maybe I'll use these instead. I'm going to take that one and put it right there. Give that a little highlight. And then add some more pearls. Of course, I like to do it in threes. Odd numbers always work well. I think that's good. I think we'll just do those. You know, if you have a thinner ribbon, you know, it'll be a little flatter. It's going to give you a whole different look, depending on the ribbon that you use. But there we go. There is our card. The other thing you could do is the Seaside Spray. I did talk about that, and I had intended actually to use that as well. Shoot. Yeah, it happens, right? That's all right. Let's do that. That's what I wanted to do. I'm going to use the glue dots. So these little flowers I cut earlier from the die. The die cuts multiple flowers at once. There's the paper. And they're kind of fun. Add a little more dimension. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Add a little more dimension to the card. Kind of give those a little pull, create some interest. There you go. And then I think, I don't know, what do you think? Should I just add a few right there? Maybe not. Maybe that's too much. You know, you got to kind of play with it as you go. Oh, well, you know what? I do kind of like that. So let's do that. It's always the trick, isn't it? Kind of knowing when to stop. I like having bling and little accents on my cards. And yeah, sometimes, like I said, knowing when to stop, right? When is enough enough? I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put this last one up on dimensional. Give it a little more. Cut that dimensional in half because he's a little bit too big. There we go. I'm going to put him kind of right there. Give it a little extra something, something. And of course, we'll put another pearl right there. All right, I like that. There you go. And don't forget to give your envelope some love. I would do the same thing on the front of the envelope, just like that. And send that to, it's a really nice thank you sentiment. I appreciate all of the little things you do. The world is better because of you. So I hope that you enjoyed my video today. If you would like to comment or like my video, I certainly would appreciate that. You can find me at Crafty Heron Designs and visit my store, craftyherondesigns.stampinup.net. If you need any of the materials that we used in this video today. Enjoy your week.